Welcome to the continuation of Japanese from Zero, Course 2, Lesson 7. Gosh, I think we're maybe 40 or more videos into this series. So if you're here for the very first time, I'm sorry. I assume you know some things, so I'm not going to soften it for you. We're going to be talking about often and not often. And then we're going to do something that is not in the book in this video, because I realized as I was making this video, wow, why is that not in the book? You do need to know ha, hi, hu, he, ho, pa, bi, pu, pe, po, and pa, pi, pu, pe, po. Today's words are just two of them. It is yoku, which means often, and amari. Now, in the book, we have it as amari, but it's also amari. Now, I never say amari, ever. I always say amari, but apparently some Japanese people say amari. I grew up in Aomori Prefecture. Aomori Prefecture is in the north of Japan, not Tokyo. So I actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go through some sentences, and then I'm going to have our correspondent in Japan, SHIORI, answer me this question. And the question is, SHIORI-san, あなたはあんまりを使うんですか？それともあまりを使うんですか？どういう人があんまりを使うんですか？どういう人があんまりを使うんですか？私が知りたくて聞いてます。よろしくお願いします。Our correspondent in Japan, SHIORI, answer me this question. And the question is, SHIORI-san, あなたはあんまりを使うんですか？それともあまりを使うんですか？どういう人があんまりを使うんですか？どういう人があんまりを使うんですか？私が知りたくて聞いてます。よろしくお願いします。
はい。私はあんまりを使います。でも正直に言うと、あんまの方が使います。あんまは、あまりとあんまりと同じ意味。だけど、すごい砕けた言い方。そう。例えば、あんましないよとか、あんま食べないとか、そんな感じ。あんまりとあんまは同じぐらい使ってる。使ってると思う。そして、みんなね、多分、一番みんなが使ってるのは多分ね、あんまりだと思う。けど、そんなに意識してないから、あまりも使うだろうし、あんまも使うだろうし、あんまりも使うと思う。でも、目上の人と話すときに、あんまって言うと、ちょっとなんて言うんだろう。砕けすぎてる感じになっちゃうかな。そう。でもどういう人があんまりって言うんだろうね。言うんだろうね。友達同士じゃないかな。そう、目上の人になったら、なっても言うか。そんなに気にしなくて使っていいと思う。けど、一番礼儀正しいのはあまり。そう。例えば、書いたりするとき、文章で書くときは、あんまりでは絶対に書かない。ちゃんとした文で書くときは、あまりを使う。正しいのはあまりなんだけど、なんでだろうね。なんであんまりになっちゃったんだろう。多分ね、あとまっていう間、絶対口閉じるから、あんまりって。そこの、まの時に伸びちゃったんだと思う。あんまり。そう。あんまりしないよとか、あんまり食べないよとか、そう。結構ね、そう、感情が入ってると思う。はい、そんな感じです。
I was in the country, so I used amari. So that's what we're going to do, because to me, amari feels wrong. And this is exactly what I was talking about in the last video, that some Japanese people are going to tell you one thing, and some people are going to tell you another. All right. So, yoku plus a positive verb means you often do a thing. Now, for those of you that are language people, yoku is an adverb. It's just an adverb. It's modifying the verb to say you do it this often, okay? So here we go. よく東京に行きます. Very simple. You put it right in front of the entire sentence. Totally fine. I often go to Tokyo. You could also say 東京によく行きます. Okay? To Tokyo, I often go. Now, typically, it's better to have an adverb directly in front of the verb, but it's really not important in this case unless it was a much longer sentence. よく東京に行きます. I often, 東京に行きます is the action, so it can come right in front of that. All right. What if you are in Japan? Well, when you're in Japan, people are going to ask you this question. I think there's a good chance someone will ask you, 日本によく来ますか? 日本によく来ますか? Do you often come to Japan? And you could say, はい、よく来ます. Yeah, you can say 来ます because you're in Japan. But what if you were on the phone and you were calling from Brazil? You are in Brazil and someone says, in Japan, says to you, 日本によく来ますか? You must answer, はい、よく行きます. Remember this, please, because in English, we sometimes say come when we're not really coming. We're supposed to say go, but we don't. We break our own rules. All right? 私の奥さんはよく日本に帰ります. 私の奥さんはよく日本に帰ります. My wife often returns to Japan. This is true. She also goes back, does not feel right in English to me. She often returns to Japan every year. When I got married, I might as well say this. I've been married now for almost 21 years. And my wife's mother was very opposed to the marriage. And the word in Japanese, by the way, is hantai. Hantai. She was hantai, opposed to the marriage. And I remember we went to her oji-san, to my wife's oji-san. 奥さんのおじさんの家に行きました. 奥さんのおじさんの家に行きました. Went to my wife's uncle's house. And at that house we had like this big powwow meeting where it was like the uncle and the aunt and the mother and my wife-to-be and me. And I think it was supposed to be, tell this guy he can't marry my daughter. Because I remember the mother had told me on the phone, お願いだから. You know, she's like, please, don't marry her. And I'm like, come on, I love her. You know, what do you want me to do? By the way, my wife is from the Kansai area. We were just talking about this in the chat room or in the YouTube stream. But Kansai dialect was being spoken here. That's the Osaka, Himeji, the whole area around that is all this sort of different style Japanese. And where was I going with this? Oh, I remember where I was going. So the mother was against it, and she said to me, please, she only has one shot at getting married. Or she doesn't have a second shot at getting married. And I said, if your attitude is like this, she's only going to get she's not even going to get a second shot. She's going to have no shot. I was kind of young, and I said that to her. But I made a promise at that moment. This is why my wife goes back to Japan every year. I made a promise to my wife that I would send her back every single year. That was my yakusoku promise to her. All right, wow. I wanted to go further, but the camera is blinking, which means we're running out of space. Here's a good sentence. This is a very, very good sentence for those of you that are playing Pokemon Go still. 私はよくポケボールを買います. 私はよくポケボールを買います. I often buy Pokeballs, and I do often buy Pokeballs. All right, now let's look at the opposite of often and say not often. Okay? You can say, I know what I'd say to here. I put amari, okay? But I'm going to say amari because my brain won't let me do anything else. Amari, okay? So don't often do a thing. So we're going to use very similar sentences to what we just had. We're just going to change the yoku to amari, and we're going to give the verb negative. Ammari Tokyo ni ikimasen. I don't often go to Tokyo. Ammari Tokyo ni ikimasen. What does this mean? Think about it. 日本によく来ます。でも中国にはあんまり行きません。日本によく来ます。でも中国にはあんまり行きません。Now we don't know the context of the conversation. We don't know what they were talking about. We don't know what the question was. But we do know, where is this gentleman or woman who is saying this? He's in Japan. Because he said, 日本によく来ます. He can't say 行きます because he's there. All right. But でも中国には but as to China, that's what the ni wa does. You're gonna see wa after ni. When it is, it means you're stressing. Well, but to China, あんまり行きません. I don't go, as opposed to Japan. All right. 私の奥さんはあんまり日本に帰りません。私の奥さんはあまり日本に帰りません。My wife does not often go to Japan. Okay? Here is a complete lie. If I ever say this, I'm completely lying. 私はあんまりポケボールを買いません。私はあんまりポケボールを買いません。That is a complete lie. I often do buy them. But this sentence says, I don't often buy Pokeballs. I do, though. Now, we're going to do something that is not in the book, but I realized as I was making this PowerPoint, it's way too easily mistaken. So let's go ahead and look at something that is confusing. The word yoku doesn't only mean often, it also means well, okay? And this can be confusing. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about both of these. What we are doing in this lesson is this yoku, but we're not writing in kanji, so we don't know the difference, okay? This yoku means often, but this yoku, in hiragana, they're the exact same thing. This yoku means well. It's an adverb, just like this yoku is an adverb. They're both adverbs. They both modify what happens with the verb, except for this one means you've done that particular action well, and this one means you do the action often. All right, so here's a very, very common phrase that's used all the time in Japan. We don't know it yet, but it is this. Yoku dekimashita. I had to make sure it was on the screen because it wasn't earlier. Yoku dekimashita. Matter of fact, hang on, there we go. Now I can see what's on the screen. So yoku dekimashita is something a teacher might say to you when you've done something very well. Dekiru, the verb dekiru means to be able to do. It's an iru eru verb, so it becomes dekimashita. You have done it well. You were able to do it well. And that's what that means, okay? So you'll even see it like on a test. Japanese teachers will stamp the test and have this little flower-like thing in the middle that will say, yoku dekimashita, okay? And this yoku, by the way, comes from yoi. Remember we learned that back in course 1 somewhere, I think it was lesson 5 or something, where we learned good, and yoi, good, and yoku means well as an adverb, okay? So let's say that you were going to a friend's house and man, you were late and there was all these problems, like you're texting your friend along the way, you're like, man, I am in the worst traffic, the train was late, my airplane crashed, whatever happened to you, wow, the fact that you even arrived, yoku kimashita. You came well. It's just amazing that you made it here, right? It could be anything, like maybe, wow, I can't believe you came even though your father is sick with cancer in the hospital. Like, you shouldn't have come to the party, you know? Wow, you know, sometimes it can be said in an ironic way, like, wow, you did well coming. Shouldn't have come though, okay? All right, so it could be that too. So we're going to now look at two sentences that are very similar, okay? One is our level, and one is completely like a level 3 sentence, which we haven't, when the screen is green background, we'll be talking about this. It's this one. Hiragana ga yoku kakemasu. So this is not a typo. It's kakemasu. Okay, we don't know this yet, but it means to be able to write. And the particle becomes ga, not an o. Hiragana ga yoku kakemasu means you're able to write hiragana well. Someone might say this to you. Hiragana ga yoku kakemasu. Okay? It means you can write it well. Very similar looking sentence is hiragana o yoku kakimasu. This means I write hiragana well, or often, sorry. I write hiragana often. Even I got confused. I write hiragana often. Hiragana o yoku kakimasu. That's the difference. So just be a little bit careful. Most of the times, it's really easy to figure out when it's often versus well, but when you see it out of context, when you don't know, it's confusing. And I'm only really teaching it to you because I know there will be the people that go, but doesn't yoku mean good or well? Yes, it does. but not in this exact lesson. In this lesson, we're teaching often. So you will not see this in future lessons. Until we teach it, it will not be used anywhere. So don't worry about if you didn't understand the differences. It's okay. I'll see you all in the next video. じゃあね。Ah, God, I love that band. All right, now that we've not made a huge mistake and wrote hiragana, we're gonna finish that last one without saying hiragana. Oh man, I don't know what happened. It's funny because people always mistakenly write hiragana, and I make fun of them. Like, man, they didn't learn hiragana yet. Like, oh, okay. Well, maybe one day you learn what it's actually called. Oh, okay. All right. Whoever pointed out the hiragana thing, thank you. I really appreciate that. I have so many typos because I type way too fast, and not in a good way. I just suck at paying attention to what I've typed. All right.